Ticker symbol VIRI, meeting our upside targets to the penny. Let's go ahead and go over the potentials for the next days. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with the ticker symbol VIRI, technicals, raw price action, and statistical thread of analysis on this Taco Tuesday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community and Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, you guys, so several things were giving us the potential of an upside trajectory of $1.28. And as you can see here on today's 6-hour candle, we actually faced the top side of $1.28. Please focus on the H right up here, right where you can see the letter H for high, right? So go ahead and look at it now. It says 128, right where we had our target, and that target was figured by a few things of confluence. In fact, one of them was our falling wedge, which actually has a top side target of $1.28. That was one hint. We actually had a few other things that actually gave us that upside trajectory. We also had our 4-spot 618 inverse Fibonacci ratio giving us that top side too. So that target was actually figured by taking an inverse fib from the top side of this price action before we got that massive correction here, right? So that is how we were able to see that top side target of $1.28 as well. Okay, the other thing that we actually used for that 128 was in fact the Gaussian channel when it was sitting at $1.29, the mean line, I mean, okay? So that is another reason we were able to see that 128 or 129 could be highly favorable and highly likely to reach, right? So in that case, you can see that we touched that 128 and we started getting that retracement. Now, what could it be? Are we done? Is this move over? What is happening with ticker symbol VIRI? Well, let's go ahead and find out now. Please go ahead and focus here on a 5-day volatility versus momentum profile. Okay, you guys, so this is something that I'm touching down right now because we have a setup happening as we speak, and that signal could have fired just today. Okay, you guys, so I mean, I would really like to see a higher, a more significant pivot towards the upside on both the EMA3 and the SMA14 from the stochastic momentum oscillator. I would also like to see a further contraction phase here from both the moving average and the volatility component of the BBWP, suggesting volatility contracting, right? So that would be a really ideal situation, but it looks like the signal could have already fired. So now, throughout the entire trading history of the VIRI asset on the 5-day time frame, we have had 5 out of 5 iterations that have proven perfectly correct. Apologies. Can't breathe there, right? So yeah, we're looking for a topside move of about 64.76% with a 100% accuracy, right? I understand it has a 100% accuracy, but that's just because we don't have that much trading history on the VIRI asset, especially on the 5-day time frame, right? But that's all that we have to work with, and thus far it has proven to be dead correct, right? So, and that average move has played out over the span of about 50 days. This is the proof of work right over here, right? So I have not calculated the standard deviation or the upper bound and lower bound of the first standard deviation just yet, but we have the mean. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what that mean can bring us, right? So anytime that this condition meets from a critical expansion to contraction with an upside pivot of stochastics, there is a 100% accuracy or a 100% chance thus far that we can get a move of about 64.76% on average, right? So let's just go ahead and see where that takes us. From the current price action, up 64.76%, right? Let's just go ahead and put it just like this and see what we have, right? 64.76, I think I'm not, okay, 64.81. Or 64.61, that's about as close as I'm going to get. It's okay. So it's taking us to about $2.03. Okay, so what is $2.03 in the first place? Well, let's take a look at our historical price action, right? Because there could be, oh my goodness. Okay, so I want you to notice here that there's a huge gap here, right? So the opening or the closing of this candle here is located right at, this is with a C, right? So it's located right at $2, right? So that could very well be where the price action is taking us. right? So right at $2 is essentially is also is also the broadening the right angle broadening ascending wedge. That's where the price action would take us based on this new breakout, right? So from here, we can draw that line from the top side all the way to the bottom side and apply it to the breakout, and that takes us to $2. Okay, so that's another thing of confluence here, you guys. So it's very curious that the mean is taking us to right where that candle closed, right? So I mean, the other thing to kind of notice here is that, yes, we have an upside pivot within the bullish control zone of the stochastic momentum oscillator. So this is looking pretty promising, guys. So now let's just go ahead and give the RSI a quick gander here, which would be the last part of the analysis. This would give us a validation of that upside trajectory or not, right? So please notice here that the 30-minute, my goodness, man, I'm losing my voice. The 30-minute immediate short-term time frame is finding support from that 14-day simple moving average, but that support is very significant at the current moment because, okay, first of all, this is the bullish control zone green area, and this is the bearish control zone red area. Okay, so every single border 2% up or down is the gravitational zones, right? So I want you to notice here that we are well within the gravitational zone alongside the SMA 14. So two areas of support before we can face a bounce to the upside. Notice here on the 4-hour time frame that we have an upside pivot with an upside pivot on that 14-day simple moving average as well. Notice here on the 8-hour, we're at the gravitational zone facing upward with an upside pivot on the SMA 14. Also, right within here on the daily time frame, upside pivot, and notice right over here the 3-day time frame in that gravitational zone with an upside pivot on the SMA 14, and finally on the 5-day, we're approaching the gravitational zone of the bull weakness percentile with an upside pivot of the SMA 14. Guys, we are absolutely upward bound here. This looks like we could have a very, very limited downside in the immediate short term, and that could actually lead. Let's just go ahead and see where that can actually lead to. Okay, so I mean, please remember that this is very discretionary of me. I have not tested the downside, but I have tested the upside. Okay, you guys. So maybe the daily chart can give us a little bit of that bias. Well, actually, let me see the 12-hour, right? So 124 on the 12-hour, and that's 123 in the daily. So we went up a cent in the after hours trading. Okay, so if we were to face a reaccumulation phase, then that could be in respects to this top side wick here to the opening of this candle right over here, which could lead us to between 122 and 120, right? So the higher likelihood would maybe be around that 120 before a continuation to the upside. I still have a resistance for us to kind of view between the 2 spot 272 at 129 and the 145 target of the 2 spot 618. So if we were to measure kind of what that distance would be from that drop to the 120 zone, that would be an additional 8% to the 2 spots 272, and then the relevance between the SMA 200, the 200-day simple moving average on the daily, and the top side of the 2 spot 618 at 145, that would actually give us a move of about 20% to the upside that we potentially can face tomorrow. Okay, you guys, so please remember first and foremost that I am not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Okay, you guys, I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. And one more thing to notice here that I actually didn't point out, right? Go ahead and notice that we printed a massive bullish engulfing candle structure here on the daily time frame, which is something to kind of take into consideration, right? So there are bull signals left and right for ticker symbol VIRI, and the upside still looks to be a higher probability than the downside. Okay, you guys, so in my personal perspective, I am still favoring the bulls within this, and the upside is still relevant. Okay, you guys, so please remember to reach out to me if you have any questions whatsoever. Okay, you guys, I wish you well, a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.